Okay. Now, when we left off for the break, I actually thought that I didn't. I was a little nervous, is what I'll say. I was a little nervous because I felt as though when I seen the previews for this episode that the show was getting ready to take a turn and start being very theatrical. And I didn't want that. I really didn't. And I was wrong.
And I'm like, come on through, Cookie. I want up on my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Cookie?
Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for 911. This is season 1, episode 7. As I said, I thought it was getting ready to go in a theatrical way, and maybe they were getting ready to start doing some type of supernatural stuff, and I just was not here for it. Not at all. But I was wrong, and I'm glad. I'm glad that I was wrong, because I didn't want to do all that. I wanted it to stay the way that it was with how I fell in love with the show. Okay, so saying that to say this was by far the creepiest episode so far. Really creepy. It really was. It had to do with like the freakiness of the full moon. And they kept talking about that, how things, whenever it's a full moon, they all try to get a lot of rest before, because some of the strangest stuff happens when there's a full moon. I said, okay, let's go. So first thing, our bald beauty. First thing we see her with her wife, and they're actually talking about kind of how sex has taken a back seat in their relationship. And it was worrying the wife a little bit. She's like, when there's no sex, then it just becomes mundane, and then things just start to fall apart. I was like, oh boy. And that's true. That is true. So she said, you know what? She said, no, it's a full moon. I'm really tired. I just got to get my rest, because I know tomorrow's going to be a crazy, crazy day. And then after that, girl, I'm going to really put this thing on you. It's like, all right, cool, no problem. So first thing we see on the day, our bald beauty and Athena. They go out. They see each other. There's a lady who called in, an older lady, because there's this man who is standing outside staring. It was the creepiest shit. Like, you couldn't see his face. You just see the man in a hoodie, and he's like standing out there. She has one of those houses, which a lot of these people where they're at, all this glass everywhere. And she's elderly, and she's standing there. She's looking, and he's just staring at her, but you can't see his face. So she's on the phone with Abby. So they call, she gets 911, they send them out. Like I said, Bald Beauty gets there, and Chen's with her, and Athena gets there. And what they realize, they get the lady all calmed down. She's basically kind of having like a panic attack, anxiety attack, which I'm telling you was really, really creepy. They actually figure out the man wasn't actually standing out there outside. She is like a reflective glass in this one piece of glass. He was actually in the house, standing right literally behind her. Bald Beauty actually noticed it, and she was like, oh my God. And there were like muddy footprints on the floor. He was literally standing right behind her. It was the creepiest shit ever. I was like, oh my gosh. So they didn't really tell her. They told her, you got somebody else you can stay with tonight while we, check everything out. She's like, yeah, I'll go stay with my daughter. So that was that. She went to stay with her daughter. And we're going to get back to that, because that wasn't the last we seen of her. Okay, so Buck and Captain Bobby end up going on a call down to like a Lamaze / yoga class for pregnant women. And in the time that they were there, literally 3 women went into labor while they were there. It was crazy. The one woman, she basically had a whole little situation where she got like her baby shifted and she got a cramp. And then when they got her turned over on her side out of that position, which is why they originally came, she went into labor. Then another woman went into labor. Then another woman's water broke just all at one time. So they had two deliveries, him and Buck. Bobby's like, I'll talk you through it, Buck. I've done this before. He's delivering one. Bobby's delivering one. Buck's delivering one. And then there's the other woman had to have emergency C-section. So they actually did get to move her to the hospital. So it was just crazy. Like they said, is the craziest stuff was going on that night. Now, Abby gets a call. It's a home invasion. She hears the whole thing. This was another one. Very, very creepy. And, home invasions they happen more times than they should be happening these days. It's creepy. But there was a home invasion, and Abby heard the whole thing. And in the midst of all that, they come back and they tell Abby the woman perished. He killed her. They didn't say how. It sounded like gunshots, but for some reason I don't think it was, because she continues screaming and carrying on. So I said maybe it was like a stabbing. I was like, oof. But anyway, the ex-husband ended up being arrested. She had like PFAs on the protection orders on the ex-husband and all of that. He got arrested, and that was that. Because, they actually had the homicide police come down to talk to Abby. Abby goes, and of course the homicide police want to talk. They want to listen to the tape. They listen to the tape, and they're like, okay, yes, ex-husband, we already got him in custody. Abby goes back and listens again. You know how Abby is. She goes and listens again, and she says, they got the wrong man. Then she goes and she has another operator investigate the past 911 calls. She's like, it's not the husband. It is not the husband. It's not the husband. So the detective comes back down to the office, and he basically is blowing Abby off, and he's telling her, I'm doing my job. I know how to do my job. Do your job. She's like, I am, she says, I just gotta feel, I just don't feel like that's right. I don't feel like that's what it is because of her response. And then I was like, Abby's right, because the calls prior, she was like talking to him and she wasn't scared of him like that. She's like, Leonard or Lester, whatever his name was, get your ass out of here. This, that, thing, and the other. I'm going to call the police. It was that whole thing. But when it was this, she was like, hey, wait a minute. What are you doing here? This, that, and the other. Why are you here? This, that, and the other. And it was totally a different type of panic in her voice. It just didn't seem right. So I was really with Abby. Right after that, the other operator said to her, listen to this, Abby. And she heard another voice. There was like another voice. So he's like, I don't know what to make of it, but I swear there's some other little voice. She calls to Athena. She calls to Athena. Athena's back at the office. And I'm going to, you know what? Let's stop there. Athena's at the office. Stop there. Let me go back into before Athena got to the office, because Athena actually had another call before she ran into this. So I'm going to go backwards. Y'all follow me back. We're going to go back. Athena and Chen and our bald beauty end up on another call together. They get a call for some guy that is warped out of his mind, and he's running around eating people's face. Literally attacking people and just taking chunks out of their face. I said, this bastard thinks he's a werewolf or something. And he's just all crazed and glazed over, and you can see he was really, really out there. And Athena, it was crazy. She literally tased him, because she's like, let that person go. Because there was like 2 people he had attacked, and he was on another person, had him down. There was homeless people he was attacking. She said, let that man go. So he started coming back toward her, and you could see through his eyes, she looked like a demon. He was just crazy as cat shit. And he's rolling up on her. She stun gunned him. He pulled the stunners out and continued coming, baby. She had to put him down. She took her gun out and blew his brains out. She shot him. Boom, boom, then the legs and all that. He's still coming, baby. She took his ass out. She popped him between them eyes, baby. She split his head to the white meat. And when they did the little check on him, he was not on. They thought he was on crystal meth or some type of, other drug. Nothing but alcohol. He was on alcohol. He had a lot of alcohol, but he was just crazy as hell. That damn full moon shit. Crazy as hell. Right after that call, Old Bald Beauty gets a call from her ex. You remember her ex from a couple episodes ago. She's out of jail and inviting her over for a little nightcap. And she's like, oh no. And Athena told her, she's like, that wasn't your wife on the phone, was it? She's like, no. She's like, listen, don't do it. Don't do it. Because if you are doing wrong, I'm telling you as a friend, let it go, because you're going to be in the position I'm in. I thought everything was cool. Everything is a mess in my life, and you do not want to go down that road. And she's looking at her, and she's like, yeah, all right, Athena, I know. So we're like, cool, no problem. So, okay, so now let's take Athena back to the office, and she's on the phone with Abby. Abby actually calls her and asks her to cross-reference this whole 911 calls and all of this in these PFA papers and all of this on this woman, because she is convinced that it is not that woman's ex-husband that killed her. So she ends up doing some cross-referencing. And what we found out was that the old lady had a daughter, and she went to stay with the daughter. The daughter's name is Nora Jane. It turns out that the guy who killed the other woman was actually Nora Jane's ex-husband, who she had PFA papers out on. The other lady was Nora Jane's domestic abuse counselor, who took special interest in her, and she actually had stayed with the lady at one point, and she really helped her to get away from him, and she had really hid her, she had hid herself from him. That it was actually him who actually killed her. It wasn't that woman's ex-husband. It was Nora Jane's ex-husband. Abby ends up calling and gets the daughter on the phone and all of this. And they're like, okay, no problem. And she's, talking to her. She's like, I can't really tell you about the other lady, but I just know, what is your affiliation with her? And she tells her and all that. And in the midst of all that, she looks out the window. That bastard is standing outside, baby. I said, oh, shit. Here we go. So he's out there, and he's crazy as shit. And her and her mother's like, oh, my God. So they're on the phone. Abby's like, the cops are just a minute or so away. Just hold on. Don't get off the phone. Child, he's banging and bamming the door. And he's literally like banging holes, kicking holes in the door like he coming in. Baby. The phone, we see the phone. Abby's like, hey, because remember, Abby's just done. She'd been on the phone for the whole other murder. She's like, where are you at? Nora Jane. Honey, we don't see Nora Jane. And the man gets in the house. He's banging doors open, and then he's going through the house, and he's looking for stuff and looking for her. And he bangs the door open, and the old lady is standing there. She's like, oh, my God, and he's like, and we see him when he come in. He got a knife in his hand, baby. A butcher knife. He's like, I told you you couldn't have from me, you bitch. You bitch, I found you, you bitch. I'm going to kill your ass. And he opens the door, and the old lady standing there. And then, baby, the daughter came out the side, baby, with a bat and gave him batter up. Clack, clack, clack. Tore his ass up. Beat him to death with a baseball bat. Got back on the phone, and she said, he's dead, baby, because I was ready for his ass this time. I'm done running, and I'm tired. And she told her, thanks to you, Abby, I was ready for him. I said, all right, bitch. They said, well, we're going to help you. The cops will be there in a minute. She took that sucker down. Took him down. And we found out, we tried to figure out, like, why didn't he kill the old lady? Because he was so crazy anyway. he always had a soft spot for the old lady. He, had this crazy thing about her daughter, and he was just crazy as hell, but had a soft spot about the old lady, and the daughter knew it. And that's why she stuck the mother up front and just took for granted that he wouldn't kill the mother, because he already had ran in with her earlier, and just distracted him enough so she can get a good smack on that head with that goddamn Louisville slugger, honey. She tore his goddamn ass up here. I said, okay, that's just some good shit. Okay, last call. Buck and Bobby run over to this little gay couple over at their house, and one is in the bathroom. He done called 911. Got Abby. Talk about something's inside of me and this, that, thing, and the other, and it's just killing me. It's tearing me apart inside of me. It's an alien or something. I said, crazy shit. Child, here it comes to find out. I said, here we go. Again, these were all the things I seen in the previews that I'm thinking, this is some science fiction, X-File type of shit. I don't want to see that. No, child, he was just an over-dramatic sissy, honey, and he was carrying on. And the two of them are in there talking, and he's explaining to them how they eat sushi, because that's what Buck said, do you all eat sushi or whatever? And that's what they were figuring out. Yeah, you eat sushi. Like 4 days a week, they're eating sushi. 4, sometimes 5 days a week. Child, they get him together. They take him. He's like, I feel like I'm going to explode, getting diarrhea and this, that, and the other. He's like, I'm going to explode everywhere, this, that, and the other. So they took him and put him in the, get him in the paramedics and everything. They're on the way. He says, something is on my leg. And he's like, no, that's just the IV cord that you're feeling. He's like, no, it's not. He said, Bobby told him, turn him to the side. Turn him over. Child, there was a tapeworm crawling from under his shorts coming out of his ass. And Bobby's like, oh my God, I want to throw up. And he literally, Buck's like, I seen this when I was in the service. No problem. He took him and he's just talking to him and talking to him and talking to him. And the lover's sitting over there, honey, and Buck is just talking to him. And he's just having this whole little conversation with Buck. And Buck is sitting there just steadily, slowly pulling this tapeworm. And it was a big old long tapeworm. It was like as long as like a damn yardstick out of his ass. I said, ew. And that's what they said. It was like a parasite from the damn, all that sushi he was eating. And it was like up at him. It was eating the sushi and eating his ass up too. I said, ugh, yuck. So, weird shit. Just totally weird. So they did all that. Last thing we see our bald beauty took her ass over there and slept with that ex. Slept with old nasty old chunky ex. Then was up on the damn beach feeling all bad. I said, you should feel bad, nasty. And then Buck shot his shot, took his ass over Abby's house, baby, and he didn't get that whole speech that Abby usually give him, honey. Abby took him right back in that bedroom and gave him some of that goddamn red whippersnapper, honey. I said, oh, Abby. No, you didn't, honey. She took him right on back there and gave him some of the red devil, honey. I said, So, it's going to be interesting to see where we go from here. But they seem to have enjoyed it, honey. They was laying there sleeping just as grinning and smiling, and Abby was just as satisfied with herself. I said, good for you, Abby, bitch. All right, so that was it. It was actually, I was thinking this might have been my last episode, but nope. Saved by the bell. Ryan saved you all. I'm going to continue on because I sure thought it was going X-Files and I was getting ready to be gone.